Hello, my name is Isabel Fripp for the 2020 Dig Deep virtual conference. Today I'm going to be talking about the use of drip bucket irrigation. We will explore the issue of hunger, the importance of water, the tools used for drip bucket irrigation, how and where it is implemented, and then we'll also see it in action. I've been working as a volunteer on an outreach effort out of Rush Creek Christian Church here in Arlington for the past 8 years. I've worked with fundraising, assembly of kits, education and training, and installation of gardens. Many of the pictures I will show you in this presentation are installations of drip bucket irrigation kits in the United States as well as around the world. I'd like to start by thanking the congregation and leadership of Rush Creek Christian Church, as well as Raphael Mathambani for their support and guidance. This is our demonstration garden at Rush Creek Christian Church. We'll see more of this later, but first, let's talk about hunger. Hunger is a problem that affects people all across the world. 1 in 9 people suffer from chronic hunger, and nearly half of deaths in children under 5 are directly caused by poor nutrition. Drought has become one of the most common causes of food shortages in the world. It consistently causes crop failures, kills entire herds of livestock, and dries up farmland in poor communities that have no other means to survive. Water for irrigation is often transported from where it is to where it is needed. 17% of world cropland is irrigated, and irrigated land produces 40 to 50% of world food supply. Because everyone has to eat, many people must grow their own food. Drip bucket irrigation can be implemented on a household level to increase crop yield, improve health and nutrition, and reduce water usage. 2 kits can provide irrigation to help feed a family for 5 to 7 years. To date, over 1,600 kits have been assembled and distributed, both domestically and abroad, as part of an annual Dallas-Fort Worth-based interfaith development aid effort. Drip bucket irrigation is a non-expensive form of irrigation that is easy to do, works well on all soil types, and provides a gradual amount of water to specific plants. Let's talk about how we create these kits. We buy the material in bulk, and we get volunteers through interfaith efforts to help assemble these kits. People of all ages and backgrounds help out at our annual assembly. This is not only very helpful, but it can be a lot of fun. The volunteers in this effort allow us to economically assemble and deliver this simple but powerful irrigation technology. Let's take a look at what's inside our kit. These are the kit materials. The user has to provide the stand, the bucket, the soil, the plants, the water, and the labor. Here is one of our kits. Notice how it is very compact, so they can easily fit inside a backpack or a saddlebag on a horse, or even in a Jeep. I'm going to go ahead and show you what's inside one of these kits. So as you can see over here, we have our drip tape. It's very tightly wound together. Then inside our bag, when we open it up, we have our instructions right here. This is our feeder line. Here are some of the connections that we have from our feeder line to our drip tape. And then this is the connection from the bucket. So here, we'll have this end inside the bucket, and this end goes on the outside, and we just screw it together. And then this is where we connect the feeder lines. And then we also have a filter on the inside here as well to keep dirt and dust out from our water. Let's see how we assemble our kit. Our first step is to drill a hole in the bottom of the bucket. Then we go ahead and find our bucket adapter. One side goes inside the bucket while the other goes on the outside, and they screw together. Then we take our feeder lines and put it into our bucket adapter. We also have connections which you'll need to put together, and it might take a few tries to get together. Go ahead and spread your lines out across your garden. This is a garden going in Bolivia. And tie off the end of your drip tape. Make sure that there are no creases or folds in your drip tape, or else water won't be able to flow freely through. You can add manifolds to add more drip tapes. Put your bucket on the stand. Then fill your bucket with water. It's a good idea to put a covering over your bucket. That way you can help filter out any dirty water. Take a look at your drip tape and search for wet spots where the water is coming out. This is where you're going to want to put your plants. Here are some examples of drip bucket irrigation being used in other parts of the world as well as in the United States. Note, these plants are being irrigated from a single point. The drip has to be at the plant, so this type of irrigation works well for vegetable crops. Grains or grass-type crops are not suitable. The key advantage of drip irrigation is providing water only for the plant, not weeds, at the rate that the plant can use it. Here is a garden in Africa, and here is an urban garden in Richmond, Virginia. Now let's go look at one of these gardens in action.
Here I am at Rush Creek Christian Church, where we have been distributing these kits for years. We distribute them without regard to other religion, race, gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or any other social economic factor. We give these kits out for free, but with some caveats, one of them being that you must get some instruction. Which brings us to the night garden at Rush Creek Christian Church, where we have a bunch of raised beds with different irrigation techniques. We have provided instruction for secular groups such as Engineers Without Borders, as well as other church groups who are about to go on mission trips. In this demonstration garden, we grow vegetables, which we also provide to people who need them. The great thing about being in Texas is that with care, you can grow crops all year long. And they got good tomatoes too. Here we have some of the tomatoes that we grow in our garden. They're pretty good. This installation has been in continuous use for about 10 years, and after a while you may get some leaks sprung up. If you have a leak, you could put a plant there, or if it's too much, you can just patch it up with some tape. Most installations typically have a 5-gallon bucket. The first thing that you're going to need to do is create a hole in the bottom. You can either use a drill or a knife to do so. Then you're going to take your bucket adapter and take this end and stick it on the inside of your bucket. This rubber part right here helps prevent any mistakes that you may have made when creating your hole. This bucket then goes on a stand, and then your feeder lines go through the holes right here. Here we have our feeder line. We're gonna go ahead and take our connector and force it into our feeder line. It might take a bit of effort. Here we're gonna take the nut and screw it all the way back on our connection. Then take our drip tape and push it as far down onto the connection as you can. Then go ahead and screw your connecting piece back up.
Go ahead and force the rest of your tape open. The small slits are an emitter of where the water comes out.
For this demo installation, we have a 20-gallon bucket that we manifolded out to 4 parallel lines on raised beds. Note that your bucket should only be around 1 meter in height. That way the average person can still reach overhead and fill your bucket. So notice how I have this cloth overhead. This is an extra filter that we use to help prevent any dirt or any debris getting inside our water system. Notice how we have drip coming out of this hole right here. This is where you want to put your plant. Remember that in most parts of the world, water doesn't come out of a spigot or a hose. They're going to have to carry it from a pond, a well, a spring, a lake, any body of water. So the most that we can do is help limit the amount of water that is carried. Water is heavy and water is cumbersome. If you have any questions, please contact the information below. I hope you found this useful.
Here's more contact information.